The great auction hall was full of noise and light. Alien traders filled the long rows, their voices sharp, their eyes glowing. Strange smells of burning oils and cold metals mixed in the air. Creatures from many worlds sat waiting, waving credits and tokens in their hands. The auctioneer, a tall insect-like alien, slammed his staff on the floor, and the sound echoed through the chamber. "Next lot," he shouted, his mandibles clicking. "Rare creatures, strong and useful. Bid high. Do not waste time. One cage." After another was dragged forward. Inside were beings of different shapes, some with scales, some with wings, some with glowing eyes. Every time the cage opened, the crowd shouted numbers, fighting to own the prize. The hall was alive with greed, with hunger for power. Every alien wanted something to make them richer, stronger, or feared. But then the mood changed. Two small figures were pushed forward, chained together, their heads lowered. They were young alien girls, different from the others sold before. One had silver hair that fell like water, her skin soft, her eyes calm, almost too gentle. The other had wild dark hair, her movements restless, her golden eyes flashing with fire. The crowd fell silent for a moment. Then laughter spread. "They are too soft." Someone shouted, "They are too wild." Another voice mocked, "Not strong, not useful. They will break or run." The auctioneer tried to keep the excitement alive, waving his arms, exotic. "Rare, you will not see such again," he cried. But the crowd only laughed louder, shaking their heads, refusing to raise their hands. For many long seconds, no one bid. The girls stood there, silent, their chains rattling with every breath. The soft one looked down, hiding her face. The wild one pulled against the metal cuffs, her teeth showing. The auctioneer grew angry, his insect voice sharp and cold. "No one will waste credits on these failures." Someone yelled, and many agreed. The human sat near the back of the hall. He had been watching quietly, his cloak covering most of his face. Unlike the others, he did not laugh. His eyes followed the two girls, watching how they stood, how they moved, how they looked at the crowd, where others saw weakness. He saw something hidden, the soft one's calmness, the wild one's fire. Both were more than they seemed. The auctioneer slammed his staff again. "Last chance, final offer, no one will take them," he demanded. The hall grew restless, most turning away, already preparing for the next item. Then a voice broke the silence. "I will bid," said the human, his voice steady, clear, cutting. Through the noise, the crowd turned in shock. Every alien I focused on him. "You?" Someone laughed. "Why waste your money?" "He is mad," another whispered. The human stood, his face half-shadowed but his eyes bright. "I will take them both," he said again, louder this time. The auctioneer froze, then gave a harsh laugh. "Very well, human. The lot is yours," he declared, slamming the staff to seal the deal. The crowd muttered. "Confused and mocking, he will regret it," said one. "Those girls will bring him nothing but trouble," said another, but the human did not answer. He only stepped forward, his steps calm and strong. The chains of the alien girls were handed to him. The soft one lifted her eyes for the first time, looking at the human with quiet surprise. The wild one hissed, pulling against the chain. Testing him, the human only gave a small smile. "Do not fear," he whispered low, so only they could hear. "You are mine now, and I see what others cannot." The hall behind them grew loud again, preparing for the next sale. But for the human, for the two alien girls, the story had only just begun. The auction lights burned hot. The noise of greed filled the air. Yet in that moment, something different had started. Not a purchase, not a trade, but the spark of a fate no one in the room could understand. And in the shadows of the hall, unseen eyes watched the human and the two girls leave. Eyes that carried danger, eyes that carried secrets yet to come. The human walked out of the auction hall with the two alien girls following close behind. Their chains still heavy around their wrists. The crowd behind them kept laughing, their voices echoing in the long corridors. Foolish human, someone shouted, he just wasted his credits. Others whispered, why would anyone choose the weak and the wild? But the human did not stop, his steps calm, his eyes steady outside. The air was thick with dust and smoke. Ships rose and landed in the marketplace square, engines glowing. The human pulled the girls to a quieter street, away from the noise. He stopped at last and turned to face them. The soft girl kept her eyes low, her silver hair hiding most of her face. The wild one stood tense, golden eyes sharp, ready to fight if she had the chance. The human studied them both for a long moment. You do not belong in chains, he said softly, his voice calm but firm. The wild one hissed back, then why buy us? To own us yourself. Her words were sharp, her tone full of fire. The human only shook his head slowly. No, not to own, too free. The girls stared at him, not believing. No alien had spoken such words before, in their memory. Every creature only wanted power, only wanted control. But this human was different. His eyes carried no greed, no hunger for gain. Instead, there was something deeper, something they had never seen recognition, as if he knew there was more inside them than chains could ever hide. He unlocked their restraints with a device from Lila. His belt, the metal cuffs, clattered to the ground. The wild one rubbed her sore wrists, staring at him with suspicion. The soft one held her freed hands close to her chest, silent but watching. Why? The wild one demanded again, her voice harsh. Why risk your credits, your life, for us? The human's answer was simple, yet powerful. Because I see what others cannot, he said. I see your true worth. The words struck them both, leaving silence in the air for the first time. The soft girl raised her head, her calm eyes meeting his. Her voice was quiet, almost a whisper. Others only saw weakness. The human nodded. They were blind. The wild girl narrowed her golden eyes. And what do you see in us? The human gave a faint smile, strength in different forms. Strength that no one else understands. Before more could be said, a loud sound echoed in the street. Heavy steps, metal boots, the hiss of weapons charging. The marketplace guards had followed, suspicious of the strange purchase. You there? Human, one guard shouted. Show us your trade papers. Prove you own those creatures. The human's jaw tightened. He whispered to the girls. Stay close. The guards moved forward, their weapons aimed. The wild one growled low, her instincts urging her to fight. The soft one trembled slightly, her hands glowing faintly with a light she quickly tried to hide. The human noticed but said nothing, only stepping in front of them. My trade is my own, he answered, his voice calm but firm. But the guards laughed. We decide what belongs. Here, they sneered, raising their weapons higher. In that moment, something unexpected happened. The wild girl leaped forward with a speed that surprised even the guards. Her chains may have been gone, but her fury was not. She slammed into one guard, knocking him to the ground with shocking force. The soft girl gasped, lifting her hand. Without thinking, a wave of gentle light spread from her palm, striking another guard's weapon, making it short-circuit and spark. The human's eyes widened. Not with fear, but with understanding. The girls froze, realizing what they had done. The wild one bared her teeth, ready for punishment. The soft one clutched her glowing hand, afraid she had revealed too much, but the human only smiled faintly. I knew it, he whispered. You are not weak. You are not wild. You are something greater. The guards scrambled back to their feet, shocked and shaken. This is forbidden. One hissed. They are dangerous. The human moved quickly. Throwing a smoke device to the ground, a thick cloud rose around them, covering their escape. "Follow me," he ordered. His voice strong, the girls obeyed, their steps quick, their hearts racing. They ran through dark alleys, past broken walls and glowing signs. The human led them with certainty. Never slowing, the wild girl stayed close, her golden eyes scanning. For threats, the soft girl kept one hand glowing faintly, ready to shield them again if needed. The human's cloak trailed behind him, his figure tall and unshaken. At last, they reached the edge of the square where his ship waited. It was old but strong, its metal hull scarred from battles past. He opened the ramp and motioned them inside. The wild one hesitated, still suspicious. But the soft one stepped forward first. "Trust him," she said quietly, her voice gentle, yet certain. The wild one frowned, then followed. The human sealed the ramp, engines roaring as the ship lifted into the dark sky. Below, the marketplace grew smaller, the lights of the auction hall fading into the distance. Inside the ship, silence hung heavy. The two girls sat close together. Still unsure of what awaited them, the human stood before them, his expression serious but calm. "From this moment," he said, "your chains are gone. Your fate is yours. But if you choose to stay with me, we will change more than our own." Liv's the soft girl's eyes widened. Her lips parted as if she wanted to ask more. The wild girl tilted her head, her fire still strong, but mixed now with curiosity. And in that small ship, in that quiet space between stars, a strange alliance began, one that no alien in the auction hall could have imagined, and one that would shake the galaxy to its core. The ship lifted from the ground, engines glowing as the human guided it into the black sky. The city of trade shrank beneath them, lights flickering like dying stars. Inside, the two alien girls sat close together, still breathing hard after their escape. The wild one tapped her fingers on the metal bench, restless, golden eyes still burning. The soft one kept silent, her silver hair falling over her face, her hands trembling slightly from the power she had shown. The human stood at the controls, watching the scanners, his jaw tight. "They will not let us go so easily," he said, his voice calm but firm. The wild one leaned forward. "Let them come," she hissed. "I will tear them apart." Her tone was sharp, fearless, almost eager for a fight. But the human turned to her, his eyes steady. "Strength is not only fury. You must learn when to strike and when to wait." The ship shuddered as alarms flashed red. On the screen, 3 small fighter crafts appeared behind them, lights blinking like predators in the dark. Marketplace enforcers had launched quickly, chasing the strange human who had taken what others called worthless. The wild girl bared her teeth. Finally, she said, gripping the seat as if she could leap into battle herself. The soft girl whispered, "They will destroy us," her voice fragile but steady. The human only smiled faintly. "Not if we are clever." He pulled the ship into a sharp turn, engines roaring, stars twisting outside the window. The fighters followed, beams of energy flashing past, lighting the dark sky in bursts of fire. The wild one laughed, fierce and untamed. "Yes, run faster, human. Show me your fight." The soft one covered her ears at the thunder of weapons. Her eyes shut, but her hands glowed faintly once more. The human's focus never broke, his hands steady on the controls. "This ship has seen worse," he said calmly, "and so have I." The chase grew harsher, each fighter trying to cut them off. One shot struck the side of the ship, sparks flying across the panels. The wild one growled, ready to spring up, but the human lifted a hand. "Wait," he ordered. He flipped a hidden switch, and the ship dropped suddenly, spinning through the lower clouds. The fighters overshot for a moment. Confused, the human used the chance, racing through the thick haze where their sensors would struggle. The soft one looked up, her voice trembling but curious. "Why do you risk all this?" she asked, her calm eyes meeting his. "You could have left us. You could have let the crowd laugh." The human's face softened for a breath. "Because I will not be like them," he answered. "They only see weakness. I see possibility." The wild one tilted her head, golden eyes narrowing. "You speak as if you know us better than we know ourselves." The human gave a faint smile. "Maybe I do." Another blast shook the ship, metal groaning. The fighters had found them again, their engines cutting through the clouds like knives. The wild one shouted, "Let me fight," her fists slamming against the seat. The soft one shook her head quickly. "No, you will be killed." But the human stayed calm. "Both of you will have your moment, but not yet." He twisted the ship again, pulling it into the ruins of an old orbital platform that drifted above the planet. Broken walls and shattered towers floated like bones of some ancient beast. The humans steered the ship through the wreckage, weaving between debris with sharp skill. The fighters followed. But the space was tighter now, dangerous even for them. The wild one laughed again, wild joy in her voice. "Good, good. Now let them crash." The soft one reached forward, her hand glowing brighter, her calm eyes watching the broken paths. One fighter tried to cut them off through a narrow gap. The wild girl snarled, ready to leap, but before she could move, the soft one lifted her hand. A wave of light pulsed from her palm. Not fire, not heat, but force. The wreckage shifted, pieces of broken metal sliding across space as if moved by unseen hands. The fighter struck the debris head-on, exploding in a burst of flame. Both girls froze, stunned by what had just happened. The wild one turned slowly to her sister, her eyes wide. You can move the stars," she whispered. The soft one lowered her hand. "Ashamed, I only break things," she said quietly, but the human shook his head, his voice firm. "No, you save, you protect. Your power is not weakness." The wild one's golden eyes burned brighter. "And me? What am I, human?" The human looked at her, his face serious. "You are fire, wild and strong, the kind that destroys chains, the kind that guards those who cannot fight." Before more could be said, another blast rocked the ship. The remaining two fighters had locked on. Firing again and again, the human pulled hard on the controls, sending the ship rolling between shattered towers. But the enemy stayed close, refusing to lose them. The wild one shouted, "Let me strike, let me burn them." The human gave a small nod. "Your moment is now." She rushed to the back of the ship, grabbing hold of the manual turret. Her golden eyes blazed as she gripped the controls, her laughter echoing through the ship. The turret roared to life, beams of red fire cutting across the sky. One fighter swerved too late, struck by her furious attack, exploding into fire. The wild one howled in victory, her voice wild, alive. The soft one clutched her glowing hands, whispering softly, "Please, please let this end soon." The last fighter circled them, cautious now. The human pushed the ship faster, aiming to ward open space, but the enemy did not give up. It followed like a shadow. The wild one spat. Coward, ready to fire again. The human raised his hand. "Wait," he said, his eyes narrowing at the scanner. "They are not chasing only us. They are calling for more." Silence filled the ship, heavy and sharp. The wild one's fire dimmed for a moment. The soft one shivered, her calm voice breaking. "Then we are already hunted." The human gave a slow nod, his voice low. "Yes, and it will not stop here." He looked at them both, his gaze steady. "But together, we are more than they expect. Together, we can escape." Outside, the stars stretched endless and dark. The fighters still circled, the danger still close. Yet in that ship, in that fragile moment, something had changed. They were no longer captor and captives. No longer strangers bound by chains. They had become something else, something greater. And the galaxy, though it did not know it yet, was about to learn what it meant when a human saw beauty where others saw nothing at all. The ship cut through the dark sky, leaving the ruined platform and the fallen fighters behind. Engines hummed steady now, no longer screaming with battle. Inside, silence held the air, broken only by the soft sound of breathing. The wild girl still gripped the turret controls, her golden eyes glowing with the thrill of the fight. The soft girl sat with her hands folded tight, silver hair spilling across her shoulders. Her calm eyes lowered. The human moved from the cockpit, his steps firm, his expression calm but watchful. He looked at the two girls, both so different, yet bound by something unseen. "You fought well," he said simply, his voice quiet but filled with weight. The wild one smirked, her teeth flashing. "Of course I did. I was born to fight." But the soft one whispered, "I should not have used my light," her voice almost shaking. The human crouched beside her, his gaze steady. "Your light saved us. Never be ashamed of saving." The words struck her heart. Her calm eyes flickered with a spark of something she had not felt in a long time: hope. The ship drifted into the void of space, stars endless in every direction. The human guided it toward a hidden route, away from patrols, away from markets that fed on chains. The wild girl leaned back in her seat, restless energy still burning inside her. She stared at the human. "Why do you speak to us like equals?" she asked sharply. He looked back without fear. "Because you are," he said. "Chains do not decide worth, actions do." The wild one tilted her head, confused by his words, unused to being seen as more than a tool of chaos. Hours passed, the ship steady, the silence softer now. The soft girl began to hum quietly. "I sound like silver bells, fragile and pure." The human paused, listening, surprised at the peace it brought. The wild one rolled her eyes but could not fully hide the way her tense shoulders eased. "Why do you make such strange sounds?" she asked, pretending not to care. The soft one smiled faintly. "Because it calms me," she whispered. The human nodded. "And it calms us too." Later, the human prepared food from the small storage of the ship. He placed simple rations on the table. Nothing fine, nothing rich. The wild one sniffed at it with suspicion. "This is food. It smells like metal." The human chuckled softly. "It keeps us alive. That is enough." The soft girl tasted it carefully, her face thoughtful. "It is plain, but it is warm." The human smiled. Warmth matters more than flavor. As they ate, the ship shook lightly. The sound of distant alarms blinking once. The human checked the scanner, his jaw tightening. "Scouts, but far away," he muttered. The wild one jumped to her feet, eager. "Let me at them." The human shook his head. "No, not every fight must be fought. Sometimes survival is the greater victory." The soft one looked at him with quiet curiosity. "You have fought many battles, haven't you?" His eyes darkened for a breath, shadows of memory crossing his face, enough to know war is not glory. That night, or what passed for night in the endless dark, the three of them rested. The wild girl could not sit still, pacing the small corridor like a caged flame. The soft one curled close, humming again, her voice weaving calm even into the restless air. The human watched them both, his mind turning. These were not weak creatures, not wild and broken as the market claimed. They were something rare, something the galaxy had forgotten to value. The wild one finally stopped pacing, her golden eyes sharp. "Tell us, human, what do you truly want from us?" The question hung heavy, her tone full of suspicion. The soft one looked up too, waiting, her calm eyes wide. The human leaned back, his voice slow, steady. "I want nothing but truth." and choice. Your freedom is your own, but if you stay, together, we can be more than prey, more than tools. We can be a force that galaxy does not expect. The wild girl's fire dimmed, just a little. Confusion mixing with her pride, the soft girl's calm grew stronger. Her voice gentle. No one has ever given us choice for the first time. Both of them looked at each other, truly looked. They had always been chained together, called opposites, too soft, too wild. But in this human's words, they saw something different. Not weakness, not danger, but strength in their differences. The human rose, standing tall. The galaxy may laugh, but one day, they will see what I see. Suddenly, the ship alarm blared louder, sharper. The scanner lit up with new signals. Stronger than before, the human's expression hardened. They found us faster than I hoped, he said. The wild one's golden eyes blazed. Her fists ready, good. Let them come. The soft one's hands trembled, her silver hair falling across her face. But the human placed a steady hand on her shoulder. Do not fear. We are not running alone anymore. The engines roared again, stars streaking outside the window. And though danger pressed close, inside the ship, something unshakable had formed. Not trust yet, not love yet, but the beginning of a bond that would grow stronger with every fight. The human, the soft one, and the wild one, 3 lives once strangers, now tangled in fate. And as the galaxy closed its eyes to their worth, they began to open their own, to the power of choice, to the fire of survival, and to the truth that even in chains, beauty and strength had never been gone, only waiting to be seen. The ship moved through the dark reaches of space, stars like endless silver dust around them. Inside, the air was tense, each sound of the engines echoing louder than before. The human checked the scanners again, his brow set with quiet focus. They are still searching, he said, voice steady. The market will not forget what we took. The wild girl leaned forward, golden eyes sharp. Let them search. I want them to come. I want to break them all. Her words burned with fire, her fists clenched as if the fight was already in front of her. The soft girl sat beside her, silver hair falling like light. We cannot fight forever. She whispered, we will be crushed. The human turned to her, his gaze calm. Every hunter believes his prey is weak. Until the prey turns, the wild one smirked, proud of the words. But the soft one looked uneasy. Her hands glowed. Faintly, the light trembling as if unsure. The human noticed, his voice low but firm. Do not hide what you are. Your power is not shame. Her calm eyes lifted to his. Uncertain, when I touch my gift, things break. People fear me. The human shook his head slowly. Only those who cannot understand fear what they cannot control. Suddenly, the ship shook hard, alarms screaming. The scanner lit up with bright signals. Enemy ships breaking into the same sector. Marketplace enforcers had sent more than scouts this time. They had sent hunters. The human's jaw tightened. We cannot outrun all of them. The wild one laughed, fire blazing in her voice. Then we fight. The ship's hull rattled. As enemy fire struck close, beams of red light cutting across the black. The human raced to the controls, twisting the ship between bursts. The wild girl jumped to the turret again. Her voice fierce. Yes, come closer. She fired, red beams, lashing back, forcing 2 of the hunters to scatter. But there were too many. Their formation tight, their aim deadly. The soft one clutched her glowing hands, whispering, we cannot win this way. Her voice was soft, but carried through the roar of alarms. The human glanced back at her, eyes sharp. Then show me another way. Her breath caught, silver, hair drifting as if pulled by invisible wind. I cannot, she whispered. If I release too much, I do not know what will happen. The human's voice cut through her fear, strong and steady. Then trust yourself and trust me. The ship jolted again, sparks flying from the walls. The Wild One growled, rage. In her voice, "We need her power, sister, or we will burn." The Soft One closed her eyes, her hands trembling with light. The human shouted, "Now." Before it is too late, her calm eyes opened, glowing brighter than before. She spread her hands wide, and the light burst outward, filling the ship with silver fire outside. The hunters' weapons twisted, their beams bending away as if repelled. The space around them bent. The stars themselves seemed to ripple. One enemy ship tried to fire again, but the energy collapsed against an invisible shield. Another was dragged sideways, colliding with its partner in a storm of fire. The wild girl gasped, her fierce smile fading for the first time into awe. You can bend the sky," she whispered, her golden eyes wide. The soft girl's body shook, the glow still pouring from her hands. "I cannot hold it long," she cried. The human stood tall, steady as stone. "You do not need to hold it forever. Only until we are free." He turned the ship hard, engines roaring. Diving through the chaos she had created, the hunters broke formation, confusion ripping through their lines. The Wild One laughed again, her fire alive with victory. "Yes, sister. Show them your strength." The Soft One pushed harder, tears shining in her calm eyes. "I do not want to hurt," she whispered. The human's voice answered firm. "You are not hurting, you are surviving. Survival is not sin." With one last burst of light, the soft girl collapsed against the seat, the glow fading from her hands. Her breath came heavy, her body trembling, but her eyes were still calm. The Wild One caught her, holding her steady. Her fierce voice softer now. "You did not break. You saved us." The human looked at them both, pride shining in his steady gaze. "This is your hidden power, not weakness, but the key to freedom." Behind them, wreckage floated, ships broken by light and chaos. But more signals blinked on the scanner, stronger fleets gathering from afar. The human's expression grew harder. "They will not stop. Not now, not ever." The Wild One clenched her fists, fire alive in her. "Then we will keep fighting." The Soft One whispered, voice thin but steady. "But we cannot fight them all." The human nodded slowly, his eyes deep. "That is why we must find where this power leads." He looked at the soft girl, then the Wild One. "You are not accidents. You are not failures. Someone feared what you could become, that is why they hid you." The Wild One narrowed her eyes, her voice low. "Hid us. From what?" The human answered with a quiet certainty, "From the truth of who you are." Silence filled the ship for a moment, heavy with meaning. The wild girl's fire dimmed into thought. The soft girl's calm eyes widened with new fear. The human's gaze stayed steady, unshaken. The galaxy does not mock what it does not fear. It mocks what it cannot control. And both of you are far more dangerous than they ever dared admit. The ship moved forward again, carrying them deeper into the unknown. Behind them lay wreckage and fire. Before them stretched endless stars. And in the quiet between breaths, the two alien girls began to realize the truth. They had not been rejected because they were weak. They had been rejected because they were too strong, too rare, too untamed for chains, and the human, the only one who had seen it, had now given their power a path. The ship floated in the quiet void, engines humming low as the stars stretched endless around them. Inside, silence held the air, heavy and unspoken. The wild girl sat with her fists clenched, golden eyes still burning from the battle. The soft girl leaned back weakly, her silver hair shining dimly, her hands resting against her chest. The human stood at the control panel, eyes fixed on the shifting signals across the scanner. "They will not stop," he said at last, his voice steady. "Hunters, traitors, enforcers, they all want you back. The wild one spat. Let them come. I will fight until they break. The soft one shook her head, her calm voice trembling. We cannot keep running, not forever. The human turned slowly. Looking at them both, you are right. The answer is not only in running, the answer is in knowing why they fear you. The wild girl frowned, her voice sharp. Fear us. They mock us, they laugh, they call us useless. The human's eyes narrowed. Mockery is the mask of fear. It is easier to call something weak than to admit you cannot control it. The soft girl's calm eyes widened, her voice barely a whisper. Then what are we? The human stepped closer, his tone low but filled with weight. Not what the market told you, not failures, not accidents. You are survivors of something hidden, something the galaxy buried. The ship drifted past a field of old wreckage. Broken satellites spinning slowly. The human pointed to them, his voice deep, long ago. Wars were fought not only with weapons, but with bloodlines. Certain species carried gifts so rare, so dangerous, that empires rose and fell over them. The wild girl tilted her head, her golden eyes flashing. And you believe we are from such bloodlines? The human met her gaze firmly. I do not believe. I know. Your power is too strong, too rare. It was never meant to be sold in cages. The soft girl trembled, her hands glowing faintly. But why hide us? Why call us weak? The human answered with steel in his voice. Because if the truth of your bloodline was known, the galaxy would change. Rulers would fall. The balance of power would shatter. The wild girl's fists tightened. Fire in her voice. Then they tried to erase us. The human nodded slowly. Yes. They buried your kind under lies. Too soft, too wild, too broken to be wanted. So no one would ever look deeper. For a moment, silence filled the cabin. The weight of his words pressing down, the wild girl growled, her voice fierce. Then let us show them. Let us burn their lies away. But the soft girl whispered, fear, in her calm tone. If they know, they will hunt harder. We will never be free. The human placed his hand on the console, his voice firm. Truth is dangerous, but chains are worse. Only when you know who you are can you choose your path. The ship beeped suddenly, scanners flashing with a new signal, a hidden relay, an old beacon, long forgotten in the dark. The human studied it, his eyes narrowing. This is no market signal. This is older, hidden in code, a call from the past. The wild one leaned close, impatient. Then open it. The soft one hesitated, her calm voice uncertain. What if it is a trap? The human gave a thin smile. Every truth carries danger. But some dangers are worth facing. He activated the relay, static, filling the cabin. Then a voice crackled through, faint but clear, speaking in a language half forgotten. The soft girl gasped, her silver eyes widening. I know this tongue. It is of my mother's stories. The wild one stiffened, her golden eyes sharp. Say it. The soft one translated slowly, her voice shaking. To the lost daughters of the old blood, if you live, you are not forgotten. You are the flame that will rise again. The cabin fell silent, the message echoing in their hearts. The wild girl's fire dimmed into awe, daughters of the old blood. She whispered, then it is true. The soft girl covered her mouth with trembling hands, tears forming in her calm eyes. We are not mistakes. We are heirs. The human watched them both, his voice low but strong. Yes, heirs to something the galaxy tried to erase. Your survival alone is proof of their fear. The wild girl's golden eyes burned brighter. Then let us rise. Let us take what is ours. The soft girl shook her head, her voice breaking. I do not want to rule. I only want to live free. The human stepped between them, his presence strong, Both paths are true. Freedom and power, choice and destiny. But whatever you choose, you will not choose it alone. Suddenly, the ship jolted. Alarms screaming again. The scanner lit up with enemy signals, closer than before. Stronger, the human's jaw tightened, his eyes burning with determination. They are coming, and they will not stop. The wild girl snarled. Fire alive. Good. Then let them see who we truly are. The soft girl's hands glowed. Faintly, fear in her breath, but strength rising inside her. The human steadied them both, his voice firm. This is not the end. This is the beginning. The galaxy will see the truth, and it will never forget. The engines roared. The stars stretched, and the three of them braced together. Behind them, the lie of weakness crumbled. Ahead of them, destiny waited. And though the galaxy prepared to hunt, something greater had awakened. Two alien daughters once mocked and chained, a human who saw what others denied. Together, they carried not only survival, but the promise of a fire that could burn empires to ash. The ship raced through the dark, stars streaking like silver fire. Enemy hunters closed in. Their numbers growing, their weapons ready. Inside, the cabin shook with every blast that struck near. The wild girl stood tall, her golden eyes blazing. Let them come. Let them see what I am. The soft girl sat beside her, silver light glowing in her hands. Fear in her calm eyes, but also strength. The human stood between them, steady as stone, his voice firm. Together, we are not prey. We are the storm. The first wave of enemy ships surrounded them, red lights burning in the void. Commands echoed through the radio. Surrender the girls. Human, you cannot escape. The wild girl laughed, fire alive in her voice. Escape. No, we fight, but the human raised his hand, stopping her. His voice calm, not yet. There is more than fire to winning. He turned to the soft girl, his eyes steady. You once believed your gift only breaks. Show them it also creates. Her breath trembled, her silver hair drifting as her light grew brighter. I can try, she whispered, her calm voice carrying a quiet resolve. She pressed her glowing hands against the ship's panels. The walls lit up. The metal humming with energy, a shield spread outward, silver and pure, wrapping the ship in. Light, enemy fire struck, but it bent away, scattering like dust against the glow. The hunters shouted in confusion, their weapons useless. The wild girl grinned fiercely. Sister, you are more than soft. You are the wall that no fire can break. The soft girl's calm eyes shone with tears, and you are the fire that keeps us alive. The human watched them both, pride in his voice. This is your true beauty, not in chains, not in silence, but in strength that balances each other. The wild girl's fire burned hotter, her hands gripping the turret controls. The soft girl's light spread wider, steadying the ship, and the human guided them forward, weaving between the hunters with calm precision. The battle grew fierce, explosions lighting the void. The wild one struck back with fire, her laughter sharp and wild. The soft one shielded them, her voice whispering steady prayers. The human stayed focused, his voice commanding, left, now right. Hold steady. Together, they moved as one. No longer captor and captives, but a single force. Then the largest hunter ship appeared, massive, armed with weapons that could tear moons apart. Its voice boomed across the channel, you cannot run, human. Give us the daughters of the old blood. They do not belong to you. The wild one snarled, her voice full of fire. We belong to no chains. The soft one trembled, her hands glowing brighter. We belong to ourselves. The human's eyes burned with steel, his voice cutting sharp, and they stand with me. The great hunter fired, beams of burning energy slamming against the shield. The soft girl cried out, her strength trembling. I cannot hold forever. The human placed his hand over hers. His voice firm. You are not holding alone. The wild one aimed the turret, fire bursting out with fury. Then let me break their pride. The human nodded. Now, together, they struck. Shield and fire and human skill bound as one. The soft one's silver light flared, bending the enemy's beams back on themselves. The wild one's golden fire cut through the giant ship's armor, tearing its hull open. The humans steered with perfect timing, guiding them straight through the chaos. The great hunter ship exploded. Behind them, flames lighting the void like a dying star. Silence followed, the scanners clear, the hunters scattered in fear. The three stood together in the cabin, their breaths heavy, their bodies weary. But victory burned in their eyes. The wild one smiled fiercely. They will never call me useless again. The soft one whispered, tears falling, but her voice strong. They will never call me weak again. The human looked at them both, his voice deep with pride. Because I saw what they could not. True beauty is not in chains, not in silence, but in strength that others fear to see. The wild girl leaned closer, her golden eyes bright. You gave us freedom, human, why? The human's gaze was steady, his voice calm. Because humans see value where others see only weakness. We see beauty in what others throw away. That is who we are. The soft girl smiled softly, her silver eyes glowing with peace. Then, perhaps humans are not so strange after all. The wild girl laughed, fire and warmth in her voice. Strange, yes, but strong. The ship drifted onward, past the wreckage, past the ruins of chains. The stars stretched before them, endless. Paths waiting, they were no longer lost, no longer mocked, no longer forgotten. They were fire and light, strength and calm. Wild and soft together, and with them walked the human, who saw beauty where others saw nothing. In that moment, in the quiet of the endless sky, something greater was born. Not just survival, not just freedom, but the start of a legend, a story that would spread across the galaxy, whispered in fear and wonder, of two alien daughters once unwanted and a human who saw their true worth, of chains broken, of powers revealed. Of beauty redefined, the galaxy would hunt them. The galaxy would fear them. But the galaxy would never forget them, for they were no longer prey, no longer hidden, no longer bound. They were the flame that rose again, and the human who carried it forward, and together they would change everything.